SEC championship for the Crimson Tide. And since Alabama won its first national title under Saban in 2009, look at what these two programs have accomplished. Alabama's won 90% of its games, 9 SEC titles, 6 national crowns, and head-to-head, 7-1 Alabama. And when you put up that kind of hardware, that's why they build a statue of you. That is why they named the field Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium. And that is where the Crimson Tide and the Bulldogs will square off tonight in just a huge regular season tilt. And there he is, ladies and gentlemen. 6-time national champion in Alabama, 7-time overall. Welcome to Tuscaloosa, Nick Saban.
That's great.
I think you know the rest of us. Reese Davis, Kirk Herbstreit, Lee Corso, Pat McAfee, Desmond Howard. Look, this has to be a little bit different for you, a little bit emotional for you to come back here and hear them chanting your name like this.
Wow, you know, it's a great honor, but we had this support for years around here, and that's what made the program great. And all the people that contributed, coaches, players, and all that. But, you know, this game became a rivalry game because of the quality of the programs over the last decade. I mean, Georgia's had a great program. We had a really good program, and that made this, every game that we played them has been of great significance at the end of the season. But I'm going to tell you, there'll be no less significance to the players today in playing this game because this is a great game that still has consequences for how teams develop during the season and what kind of chances they have to get into playoffs later on.
And to your point, GOAT, this is a December-January game happening here in September, and there's no state in this United States that should be hosting a game of this magnitude. Give me Alabama.
Yeah.
To be the ones, and it's a palpable feeling here from the strip to the quad. And a prophet from Alabama once said, "I don't give a piss about nothing but the task." And you can feel it because it's awesome. It's an honor to be here in September. Thank you for the help, and what a glorious day for college football. Coach, congrats. You built all of this, and it's an honor to be in your world for today.
Thank you.
You know how I know it's a really big game?
He stood on the chair.
Well, no, I always steady the chair when he stands on it.
Yeah.
That baby was rocking.
I was trying to see how your tries were doing. There's going to be a lot of that today. How could you not? This is what makes college football amazing. This is what makes sports great. We got two incredible programs battling it out. One trying to prove they can still do what the GOAT was doing. The other one mad about what happened in the SEC championship. And they've been running through that all offseason. It's a glorious day for college football here in Alabama.
And, you know, Kirk, to that point, the last 51 games Georgia has played, they have lost twice. Both times to Alabama. There's a lot of history, but what about tonight? What are we seeing tonight?
Tonight, you know, if you're Georgia, Carson Beck is going to be the key to this football game. His ability to make plays and show his maturity. This kid is as good as there is in college football. The question is, are the playmakers around him ready to go? Trevor Etienne, the transfer out of Florida, threat both, not just running between the tackles, getting out on the perimeter, also catching the football. Deontay Lawson, man, Coach and I and Chris Fowler, Holly, met with him. What an impressive guy, great leader, the alpha in this defense. He'll make sure that they're right. And then Bama's offense. A lot of Jalen Milroe talk. How about the kid? 17 years old, Ryan Williams, as electrifying in these first 4 weeks as anybody in the country. And then it's Malachi Starks, 24. The leader in the back end of Kirby's defense has got to be able to make some plays, try to get some turnovers, get the ball back to Carson Beck.
Well, you know, Nick, you alluded to it off the top. It's not going to be any less meaningful to the players, but typically this has been for championships. They've had trophy ceremonies at the end of these games. How does approaching it this time of year impact these two teams?
I don't think it'll be any different for the players. I mean, they're great competitors, they got great programs, great teams. They all have something to prove. So I think the key to this game, though, is going to be the fact that both teams have played great defense. So which team can get their sea legs on offense, because there's been a little bit of inconsistency, even though they both have outstanding players who can make plays. So it'll be very interesting to see how that transpires versus these very good defenses.
I tell you what, Alabama, when they look at the film of Georgia, right, and Georgia did not look great against Kentucky, but you know this better than anybody, Coach. They're not going to face a defense like they faced against Kentucky. So Alabama, looking at that offense for Georgia, understand that Georgia's offense is going to be ready for this defense. Carson Beck and that group, because of what happened in the SEC championship game a year ago, they're not going to look offensively anything like they looked in Lexington against the Wildcats. They're going to be ready for the Tide's defense today.
Des, you and I were talking about this last night as we were enjoying Miss Terry's wonderful Italian meal at Saban's house. You know, this Georgia offense with Carson Beck, obviously he's back. ETN, hell of a player. They got a guard out, so we'll see how that goes. But no Brock Bowers, no Ladd McConkey. Right. I think you're still trying to figure out how to navigate without them. And whenever you...
What was that?
Jalen Milroe creates tremendous problems for any defense. So figure out how to stop that run.
Okay. Hey, you're 100% right. He's also averaging like 35 yards a pass touchdown over his 2 years. So you're talking about two phenomenal potential offenses. Georgia hasn't been able to get it. New pieces. Carson Beck remains the same. Jalen Milroe's back on the Alabama side. I think the offenses do get rolling today, but Alabama has been more consistent, I must add.
Pat, how cool is it to see Coach a fan?
Yeah.
It's like, hell is that?
I thought I was going to get smacked. I saw him raising his hand. He's like, why are you saying Brock Bowers and Ladd McConkey's name? They are not here for it. Instead, it's passion, and we've been feeling it.
Nobody will understand us more than Coach because he's done it. This, you get into these kind of games, to me, line of scrimmage, physicality. We could talk quarterbacks and skill all we want. Big for Georgia. They get some depth back on that defensive line. They're exposed a bit, having guys play too much against Kentucky. They're supposed to get some of these guys back. That could help. But who is more physical for 60 minutes? That's who's going to win this game.
No question about it. The game is played in Alabama.
Yes, sir.
And some things jumped out at me. I want to go over them.
Okay.
Georgia has a 16-game winning streak in opponents' stadiums.
Oh.
And listen, Georgia's last time that they lost in a dome, in an opponent's stadium was here in Alabama.
Oh. Yeah. That's a long
2020.
And let me tell you something. They learned one thing, though. You don't beat Georgia. You got to beat them. They don't beat themselves. And that's a big thing in this game. True. Who beats themselves.
Very true.
What, they got like 28 straight league wins or something like that without the team?
Yeah, in the regular season, the conference championship games have been problematic. We're going to break this game down every way you can.